Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Hi, Rogan.
I went first. I was excited
I
because it's
see
our
that.
first episode asterisk because we recorded. The last one was episode 0. I'm a computer science person. I always start counting at 0.
Yes,
If you got that reference, you got it.
zeros and
But yeah,
ones. That's all I remember
zeros and
from
ones.
those
There
years.
we go. We
See, I
got
was
there.
paying attention.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Holly, and this is my son, Rogan, and this is episode 2 of
1,
season 1. It's episode 1.
2, 2. I can't keep count. This might be 3.
We're already so far deep into it, we can't keep count. Let's start that over, folks. Welcome to Ramblings from the Little Shed, season 1, episode 1. So I'm pretty excited to have Shannon on our show, and she's going to teach us everything we need to know about fountain pens and tell us a little bit about her art, but most importantly, about her cat, Lulu. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Ramblings from the Little Shed. Tonight, our guest is Shanon Stewart, and I would love to introduce her with a bio, if you'll allow me. Shanon Stewart is a watercolor artist with an affinity for all things vintage. From classic cars and architecture to fountain pens and typewriters, Shanon is fascinated by the care and craftsmanship of design that defined an era. As humans, we are designed to create, and history shows us that even the most insignificant things, such as a doorknob, was worthy of beauty. Shanon works to incorporate beauty into everyday tasks, such as using fountain pens to write grocery lists. Her mail club, the Spilled Ink Mail Club, was created to connect communities of like-minded people through tangible, handwritten, handmade items. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ramblings from the Little Shed. Tonight we have Shanon Stewart with us, and she is going to introduce her special fur companion before we dive into the juicy details of her. So, hi, Shanon. How are you?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very, very good. And of course, we have Rogan here with us. Hey, Rogan.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here. Oh, did I just hear a meow?
Yes, a very,
I might be
very faint
imagining it.
one. No, you did hear her. She's kind of like,
Okay.
what is happening right now?
Segue into our fourth guest.
Yes, our fourth guest. Our fourth guest is, her name is Lulu. She's my kitty companion. And she's left us now. She's my black cat with a gigantic orb eyes that she mesmerizes everybody with.
So how did Lulu come to be in your life?
Well, we got her about 10 years ago. She was 2 years old when we adopted her. She was being adopted out by a lady who had adopted her from rescue, actually. She had been found in a box with a bunch of her other siblings. Someone had abandoned the box of kittens, and the lady who originally had her had adopted her from there. But she wasn't doing well in her house. She had other cats, and Lulu was very timid and very sweet, kind kitty, but she didn't do very well with the other cats, and she was getting bullied and not assimilating well, so the lady had to adopt her out, and I found her ad on Facebook, and we immediately connected. She said that I was the first person that Lulu allowed to pick up, and she actually sat on my lap for a little while. She didn't want to run away immediately, so the lady said that she felt like I was the right person to be adopting her, so... And then she came home with me.
She chose you in a way. Yeah, she chose her human.
Yeah, I did.
Well, the premise of our podcast, if I haven't said it already, is that we are hoping to explore if animals influence your creative side. And by creative, that can be any kind of creativity. It could be a painter, a writer, an author, artist. And so we were wondering if Lulu has any kind of influence on your creativity. And that could be anything. Maybe she does the art, or maybe she just keeps you company.
Wouldn't that be awesome? I've seen those videos of animals finger painting or paw painting, I guess.
Well, I haven't seen that. I gotta check that out.
Oh no!
In the meantime, we could try giving Lulu like a pencil or anything and see what happens.
Right. Well, She does immediately sit on whatever I'm working on. So, she knows when it's time to work. Yes. So I guess in her own way, she encourages me to take a beat often, like I'm trying to get to work, but then she's like, nope, we're gonna chill for a bit and you gotta give me snuggles first. And so she often encourages me to take breaks and slow down. And she is also a very calming spirit. She has something uh about her being, I guess, especially as cat owners, we all know that they're a little bit less excitable in general than puppies and dogs can be. So, as a cat owner, I feel like there's this calmness to them and they're just happy being, in the same room as you and they're just chilling, but they're just like happy hanging out with you. And it kind of gives a feeling of comfort and calm. So, it kind of like encourages that creativity to come out in its own time, I guess you could say.
I think that is absolutely beautiful, Shannon, and it's the first time that
Thank
I've
you.
heard it put that way. She may not
Aw.
do the art, but possibly in the way that she makes you feel may generate a form of the art in a sense. That is absolutely
Mm-hmm.
beautiful that she allows you to take a beat. I've never quite heard it like that. Would love to. That is another great segue into what kind of creativity makes Shannon happy. What are the things that you like to work with? What's your medium?
Thank you. I am mainly a watercolor and ink artist. So I started off with drawing in graphite in pencil, and I kind of got curious. And I got curious and was looking into different forms of painting and art, and I wanted to jump into a little bit more color. So the easiest or one of the easiest mediums to take up is watercolor because it's an easy form of entry. It doesn't cost as much as some of the other mediums and it's easy to clean up. So I got into watercolor and never looked back.
I
Oh, I
never
actually
ever would have thought watercolor would have been the easiest medium to get into, but if
exactly. I
that's
kind of assumed it was the opposite,
Yeah,
just
not that
not knowing
watercolor
anything.
is
But
is easy to do. It's got, it's got its own learning curve, but it is can be a less expensive option. With oil paints and acrylics can be very expensive. Watercolor, you can get it like a simple little palette just to get started. But it can get expensive too, especially when you get into like the professional level paints and stuff can be very, very pricey. But in terms of beginners, it is a medium that's a little more accessible, I find. And it's portable, so you can bring it with you. You can, pack up your paints, and all you need is a little bit of water and a paintbrush, and you got paints on the go. And you can do that with other mediums, but it's a little bit more difficult. It just makes it an easy medium to kind of bring around with you, especially if you like to do things like urban sketching or sketching on location, that kind of thing. So
and that was definitely going into a question that just popped up. Other than Lulu being uh, influence, I suppose, what are
hmm
some of the things that you like to paint? Like, do you have a certain, like urban sketching, like you mentioned, or is it animals or flowers? Is there something in particular that
yeah.
you've been working?
So I have been painting classic cars lately. So classic cars, but I also am drawn to architecture. Urban sketching factors into that as well. And I like to paint things um, that have a design element, that may be forgotten. The architecture, the beautiful architecture of the past is a little different than the modern minimalist, glass and concrete buildings that we have today. So things like classic cars that have these, very unique design features that we don't necessarily see today. I'm very intrigued by those things and vintage things especially. So old furniture, doorknobs and doorways, arches, that kind of old windows, anything that has a sense of beauty that may be overlooked in everyday function. So it's like, when you see an old vintage doorknob, today's doorknobs are very, very plain, but old vintage doorknobs, they often have a lot of scroll work, a lot of detail work done to them. Even though it's just a doorknob, we think that that's just, something functional, but they often have a lot of detail work on them. So
That's a
I'm
good
very
point. I mean, there's so
attracted to
many.
those things.
Okay, yeah, and they were metal and they were etched and had different facets to them. And I love that street rodder, and so he built old cars, and I also admire them, especially when I see two old, 1950s pickup trucks, and you do see that often in paintings, but even more so in the home decor lately. So of course I want to gather it all because it makes me feel, it reminds me of my dad and all the time that I spent in the garage as a young girl.
Yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
appreciate the love that you have for all things vintage. So I was hoping that you
Mm-hmm.
could give us a tiny tour of fountain pens. And I know that listeners can't see, but I'm hoping through some
Mm-hmm.
descriptions you can share your love of fountain pens and paper and typewriters and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, my origin story starts off with my villain origin story, I guess.
Ooh, we like that. I think that's going to
Yeah.
be a new segment.
Yeah.
Origin story. Villain origin story.
Yeah, exactly.
Mighty is the fountain pen.
Right. Well, I've always been a stationery nerd, I guess. When I was about 13, I was walking to the stationery store, the old Mayfair in the mall when I was a kid. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw something glinting on the road, and I picked it up, and it was a fountain pen, and it was a Schaefer fountain pen. And so I ran to the stationery store, and I got the lady to show me how to fill it with ink, and thus began my fountain pen journey. Now I have about 25 to 30 pens in my collection, and they range from the 1930s, 1920s even, all the way to today's modern fountain pens, and it
That's
fuels
incredible.
my thank you. Yeah, it fuels my love of all things stationery. So I've got some staplers from the 60s, and I've got um oh gosh, I got some typewriters from the 30s and the 60s, and I have about four typewriters now. But yeah, it all
It sounds
started
like
with
you're ready to start
my
your own shop soon.
right. That would be awesome. I
But also,
probably
I
could.
would never part with that kind of stuff. It sounds like it must have been like a challenge to find some of those things.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's been probably 15 years worth of collecting over the time. So yeah, a lot of the things that I have in my collection, it would be hard to part with for sure.
Well, I've seen some of your work, Shannon, and your calligraphy is beautiful, and of course, your watercolor paintings. But can you tell our listeners what direction you're headed in? Like, do you have aspirations of having your own art show or offering classes to your local community? Is there something that you have in mind, short term, long term, anything that you want to share? Maybe you don't want to,
Hmm
and that's okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, most recently I had a fountain pen show actually. So I figured I had enough fountain pens that I could have a little bit of a show and maybe a sale. So I chose a few that I could possibly part with to put for sale. And I held a little info booth at a local cafe, Le Jeune Cafe and Vintage Feather store. And so I had all my fountain pen collection, my ink collection, and I just invited people to try out fountain pens and see if they're curious about the fountain pen world. Toronto has a fountain pen show every year, and this year I missed it. I wasn't able to go, but I figured why not have my own show? So that's what I did. So there is a growing community out there of people who have an appreciation and a real love for fountain pens. And I think that a lot more people are finding their way to fountain pens and a little bit more of an analog kind of way of doing things. I think that people are trying to move away from their phones all the time and trying to reconnect to paper and pen and doing things a little bit more offline. So I can see a bigger interest in fountain pens in the near future. So I'm hoping that I could connect to some locals who enjoy fountain pens and who might enjoy journaling, who might enjoy also letter writing and maybe paper crafting and stuff like that. So I'd like to put on some more workshops and build a community around that kind of thing as well as watercolor and drawing. Um, and and I guess in terms of my painting, I would really like to and connecting the painting with the fountain pens and the letter writing, I would like to build a mail club and have people
Love that.
thank you. Um, have people um, that would be like a subscription form, so they would receive a letter and as well as a art print every month, and maybe a sticker or something, paper craft related, and sort of build this community of people who are interested in being a little bit more analog in their daily life.
Because
That would
God
be
knows we could
amazing.
use a little bit less screen time, right? Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I love that.
That's so true. Thank you.
Hmm.
I've noticed that there is an influx of bookstores, locally owned bookstores coming back to the smaller centers, and I'm hoping the
Mhm.
same will be for stationery stores and all things analog, I suppose, or
Mhm.
vintage when it comes to paper. I know in the big city they do
Yeah.
have some shops, but not nearly as many as there used to be. So Rogan, you'll have to let me know if anything pops up in that big city of yours that you live in.
Mhm.
And I'll also have to check out the pen show because that sounds really cool. And I had no idea that those happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
About 10 years now, they've been having a pen show in Toronto. It's called Scriptus. And yeah, so this year I think was their 10th anniversary. And they
No
are
way.
expanding. They're doing workshops now. This year they were doing workshops. They were doing a lot more interactive things, which I was really bummed that I missed out on. But I think that it just shows how much more interest there is, that instead of remaining stagnant, they're actually growing. And I think the participation is growing. So I think that it has a good outlook for the future.
And it's great that you can bring that experience to some other communities outside of these big centers. Because, of course, like in a place like Toronto, stuff like that, you can find anything. But
Hmm.
somewhere smaller, like you might not even realize that you'd be interested in this kind of hobby art craft without these community-led groups. So I wish you the best of luck with those because that's awesome, and I hope you can reach as many people as possible.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was really great to see some of the people when they walked into the cafe last weekend, like fountain pens. Oh my gosh, I didn't know anybody else used those anymore. So there was a lot of surprise, but then there was so much curiosity and enthusiasm and like, wow, this is so cool. And so it was really great to be able to share that with the local people here who might not even know about it in Toronto. So
I have
yeah.
two questions for you, Shannon, before we go.
Hmm.
One, do you think pen pals will come back? Because I adored being a pen pal when I was younger, and with everything so digital and so quick and we can text, I wonder if that'll come back. And second, if someone wanted to get into fountain pens, I mean, watercolor is
Hmm.
fairly accessible, but if somebody wanted to explore the whole fountain pen journey, could you give them one piece of advice as to where to start? Especially in a smaller town where maybe those supplies aren't as accessible?
Yeah, yeah. In terms of pen pals, I really do think that people are wanting that personal touch that pen pal brings to communication. It's one thing to get an email or a text or whatever, but when you get, a birthday card in the mail or a Christmas card from, someone special in your life, I think that it just kind of gives that little extra personal touch that people, I think, are craving these days. And I'm seeing actually like a growth in mail clubs, like I was talking about before on TikTok and Instagram. People are more interested in having things that are tangible, that they can hold in their hands, that they can put on their wall or, put in their scrapbook or their memory keeping book. So I do think that in the future, people are going to be connecting more via physical mail and cards. And so I'm hoping, anyway, I'm keeping my hopes up for that to happen.
That's
And
good
in
because I'll be
terms
able to pull
of,
out all of my envelopes again and use them to send things to people. Sorry, go ahead, Jen.
right,
She's got a
right.
lot of envelopes. Can confirm.
I know I have lots of envelopes too. Actually, I inherited a whole box of envelopes from my grandmother, so I can understand that.
Well, at least you and I could be pen pals to start.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I love it. I would love to I try to send more mail than not. If if a friend is having a birthday coming up or anybody is having a birthday, I'd really try to send mail, send a card instead of just an email or a text message. So I'm not saying that that's not enough, but like I consciously am trying to do more of that to have the more personal touch. So yeah, I'm hoping that picks up a lot more, and I'm seeing evidence of it online, which is nice. So I think that my enthusiasm, my hope is well placed. And in terms of fountain pens, as a beginner, if you're interested in trying out fountain pens, there are very affordable options. You can buy a pen for under $10 and try it out. There are all kinds of price points. So there's like $30, $50, and then there's $100+, right? So there are multiple price points. You can definitely try it out and see if it's for you. And I think that the number one piece of advice I would give if you're a beginner is that there are three things to consider with fountain pens. And that is your pen, number one. Number two is your paper. And number three is
Mm-hmm.
the ink. So there's three pieces to a fountain pen experience that will make it a good experience versus a bad experience. So if you're using, regular old copy paper from your copy machine, or, some of those notebooks from that are, notebooks that you have lying around, you may not enjoy the experience because fountain pen ink tends to spread, and it'll look, very like a drop of water has spread across the page. So those are the three things, like you don't have to spend a lot of money, but you have to be aware that, if you're thinking about fountain pens, that those are three things that you want to consider trying together to have a good experience. Because if you try writing with the fountain pen on horrible paper, you're going to be like, oh, this isn't for me. But if you have a good paper and, the ink is behaving well, there are inks that are, faster drying. There's inks that are waterproof. There's inks that are, sparkly. There's inks that are, they have all kinds of different behaviors. So it's a matter of trying out different combinations to see what suits your writing style. And it may not fall on the first try, but if you're really, really interested in trying the hobby, to kind of like keep going and see, try a few different things before you give up on it.
Yeah, that's good to keep in mind because I know I would be the one to use the old copy paper and just be like, well, this doesn't work, and give
Yeah,
up
yeah,
immediately. So
yeah, exactly.
I've learned so much in the last short bit about fountain pens, and sometimes it is worth spending a little extra to figure out an art. Sometimes you can get away with spending a little less, but depends on the type of art that you're about to start. Before we let you go, is there any chance that Lulu's around, or is she in her corner all cuddled up and ready to head to bed for the evening? We'll
Let
have
me
to just
check.
say goodbye to her from a distance.
from afar.
From
Yeah,
afar. Yeah, that's okay. We don't want to
maybe.
disturb.
Yeah, oh, she's right here. I found her. Hiding. She's hiding on my bed, waiting for the podcast to be to be done.
No,
But
she is.
yeah,
My
but
well, listeners, she
she's
is beautiful. She's all black, and her eyes are as green as can be, and yeah, she's adorable.
no, thank you so much.
for joining us today. And thank you as well, Lulu. I understand you're camera shy, so
Yeah,
we
she's
appreciate
like,
your appearance.
every time she's doing something cute, I swear, the minute I take my phone out, she stops and looks at me and is like, what?
She
I'm not
knows.
being on camera. Yeah, she knows.
No, yeah, not today. Didn't comb my
Yeah,
furs before, so.
exactly.
Thank you very much, Shannon and Rogan. And this was an amazing first episode, and we can't thank you enough for you and for Lulu for being here with us.
Thank you
We're
so
wishing
much. It's
you
been a
very
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
awesome. We'll see you again.
Thanks.
I see you're wearing a flannel, and I see that you're drinking tea from a mug.
Yes. Well,
Care to elaborate?
you know, I love routines, and I do have a type A personality. And because
do?
I am rambling, I know, and you come by it honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
And because we are rambling from the little shed, I just thought it was fitting that we always wear flannel because we are a flannel family. So mine
we really
is
are,
a...
and we have you to thank / blame for that.
Yes, sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah.
This flannel is more of a salmon and a navy blue, which I think is quite a nice check. Yours is more of a... It's a version of a buffalo plaid with black and red, but it's not the true
This one doesn't
buffalo
really have
plaid
much.
check.
It's more auburn brown shades. Funny enough, I have, when I got this flannel with you, we got 2 of the same style in 2 different colors. The other color that I have is pretty close to what you have on. It's red and blue. That is my favorite flannel that I own because I just love how striking the red is.
Okay.
Speaking of flannel, I haven't bought a new flannel in 2 years. This is the last one that I've bought. Or like a new flannel that I've received.
Well, every time you send me a photo, I encourage you to buy one.
I know, and I'm just like, it's too much money, but I'm due. No, I'm due for a new flannel.
No,
It's time.
it is here.
This
So
year,
tell
it's
me,
gonna happen.
what are you drinking, Rogan? I'm drinking out of my Tim Hortons cup that has a deer and a mountainside and says Ontario on it.
My God, you're drinking from a Tim Hortons cup? Look at this. I mean, it's, I don't know if we're on video, but it says Tim Hortons on it. It's a really weird mug. I don't know. Is this from you? Is this your old mug? I don't
Probably.
remember.
No,
It's, like,
no, I
weird
don't
shaped.
think so. I don't think I would have ever bought that mug.
Yeah, it's thinner at the top and wide at the base. So it's like awkward, but it's fully red with a little maple leaf.
I
Tim
mean, it's
Hortons.
very cute, but it's got a different shape for Tim Hortons. It's not their usual style.
I won't lie. It's not my favorite mug, but it is what I pulled out this morning. And I'm drinking French press coffee from this morning.
You want to know what I'm drinking? Well, you're going to know anyways.
Is it Tim Hortons coffee?
No, it isn't, eh? It's,
Eh?
I went to the loveliest tea shop on Manitoulin Island called Bittersweet Tea. And I have some ideas for my own book launch, and that's a story for another day. However, she gave me several samples to try, and I am enjoying each and every one, and I don't know how I'm going to narrow it down, but I don't have the names of the samples because she's numbered them from 1 to 8, and I suppose I'll just let her know which ones I preferred, and then she'll tell me what the blends are. But there's something in this one that's just making me happy. So that's what I'm drinking.
Lovely.
Yes.
I've been meaning to get more tea. It's just been a lot of coffee lately. And I love coffee, don't get me wrong. But I have my box of Earl Grey in the cabinet. And I am in need of something different than Earl Grey. So I got to get out there, get some new teas at some point.
Because where you are, you actually have access to tea shops.
I know.
I don't. So I'm
Yeah.
jealous.
Wasting all the potential.
All right.
Boop. We're back.
We're back. Wow, Rogan. That was incredible. Did you learn a few things?
I definitely did. I did not expect. I mean, it was really good. I mean, of course, Shanon is lovely, but also I was just so taken aback by those prints. Incredible.
I know.
Yeah.
And I do hope that if you are listening, you take a few moments to check out Shannon's
Yes.
socials because her art is incredible. And I know you couldn't see it, even though we were trying to describe it, but you can't really appreciate it until you see it. And the fact that she uses very little to create that art, but she uses the fountain pens and the paint is incredible. And I happen to know that she uses watercolor from a local artisan who makes the watercolor.
What?
And it's incredible. It's called
I didn't
Beam
even know-
Paints.
What's it called?
Yeah. Beam Paints.
Oh, Beam
and the
Paints,
paint is
okay.
all, yeah, BEAM. It's
That
one
is
of
so
the paints
cool.
that she uses. Yeah.
To be able to like buy that from a local merchant instead of no shade, but Amazon or something, you know?
Yes.
That just
Yeah.
makes it so much more special, right?
It does. It does. And she creates memories for people. So, how was chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 for you of Dungeon Crawler Card?
I definitely sat down and diligently read the entirety of chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and didn't just check for a Spark Notes summary.
Glad you're
Hi,
here.
yeah, I'm great at this. What did you think? I know exactly what happens in these chapters. What did
All
you
right.
think?
You're right. I am the one trying to catch up here. The author's name, I should mention, is Matt
Dinneman.
Dinneman. Gets me every time.
I get to meet him in a month, which is really exciting. He's
Wow.
going to be at a convention that I'm attending, which, woo, I'm excited.
That is exciting. I have to say, the cover of the book, again, please look it up online if you can't see us here, obviously, is incredible. It's very striking. And he had me at Princess Donut, the Queen Anne Chonk, also known as just Princess Donut. I mean,
Queen
to incorporate the cat in the first chapter was genius, first of all. Second
I
of
do
all,
genuinely think he brought on the audience quite significantly with the cat.
absolutely. I mean,
Yes. I mean, here we are.
as my son, would you have ever thought that I would have picked up this book?
No, and I continue to be shocked.
Now, I have two other points on this book. So, yes, it is out there.
Sorry. I was waiting for the first description, and we got
Okay.
out there. That's good. That's a
I
good
got out
thing.
there. That's that's some great commenting there. But they are breaking through the fourth wall, which I have come to learn that is one of my favorite ways of narrating a book. And I am going to definitely write a book that way, which in fact, I have a story idea and I have started to write it that way because there's something, it makes it more personal. And I hear the humor in it. It's almost like the narrator, the author, is speaking through the narrator's voice to me, which is the whole point. You had a puzzled look on your face when I said breaking through the
What?
fourth wall.
Where are we breaking? I might be misremembering. What's
It's when the narrator is speaking to you, the reader.
okay?
And they're
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
like you a lot. Some people might call it second person point of view, but there's also this, I don't know, it's like you're in the room with them and they're speaking to you. So
I
it
definitely
really
do
makes-
know what you mean.
Okay.
I don't know if there's like an explicit like he knows he's a character in the book, but I see what you mean by I think I would be in the boat of like a second person kind of. But like you said, it does kind of make you feel like he is recounting the story to someone, in this case you in particular. You wouldn't see that in like a traditional, like what I read a lot of fantasy. You wouldn't see the use of the word you or something like that referring to an audience like you do in this book, for sure.
So there's an example like on page 2, he says, so let me back up 10 minutes. I won't bore you with too much backstory, but some of these details may be important.
Yes,
So you
okay.
see how he
No, you're
incorporates that, like,
definitely right.
talking
Yeah.
through. Now my
Very
other
much
point,
storyteller kind of energy.
yes, and I'm coming to see that, like, I love that. And I feel like this is where I'm going to be going with my next story. The narration, because this is another thing that I love to do now, is read a book and also listen to it at the same time, which means that I'm paying double for a book, but sometimes I get it through the library. Anyways, that's a whole other
For
story.
this book, it's worth it, though.
It really is. It's like watching a movie in your head. I could not believe it. You had said it before, and it's not that I didn't believe you, but you have to listen to it to understand. It's quite incredible. The narration is fun.
I am forgetting his name, which makes me feel so bad. 'Cause it's been a while since I listened to it. I'm going to Google it because I need to know.
For who the narrator is?
Yes. Because he narrates, assuming you're reading the one that I think there's only the one audiobook. He voices everyone. And like most
Okay.
people don't realize that. At first,
Well,
that is. I didn't. Jeff Hayes.
Jeff Hayes. They'd be smart to
incredible-
do it that way. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
want to. It's like taking an actor in a series for 5 seasons and then switching the actor. Like, you just lose interest. You need to keep it consistent. But I have to say, I'm enjoying it very much so, and I will continue.
Great. Woo.
And
it's
so-
not too video gamey.
No, and because the narration is so well done, it's keeping me interested, and it's very video gamey. But maybe it's just the right time for me to read this book.
Yeah. And the thing with this book that I find when I recommend it to people who wouldn't normally, so it is considered a lit RPG, is that what it's called? Where it's kind of like there are these very explicit like video game elements like items or statistics or stuff like that. With this book, especially as you get further into the series and you start to know the characters and like some of the more emotional stuff happens, like at the end of the day, all of that extra bonus stuff doesn't really matter. If you're like me and you like those kind of like crunchy, sometimes even like mathy elements, it's fun. But at the end of the day, it's not integral to the story that he's trying to tell. And there definitely is a really incredible story. I have read the entire published series at this point.
Wow.
It's pretty great. Where was I going to say something extra there, but it's gone. Yeah. Speaking of Princess Donut, and I don't know, I think at the point that you're at, she hasn't really started to shine yet. Can I tell you something crazy?
Is this
Your
a spoiler?
your other son didn't like the book as much because he didn't like Princess Donut. Yeah.
Shame.
I had to throw him under the bus on our first episode. Second,
Wow.
third. Yeah.
When we are done here, I'm going to make a call.
Yeah, you should. That's not the only
So,
reason.
if you were to get a cat, would you call her Princess Donut?
No, I feel like I can't live up to. I wouldn't want to put that pressure on the cat. Princess
Yeah.
Donut, there's a lot to live up to there. I don't know what I would name her. I haven't thought about that.
Well, Lulu seems
that's my
very
homework.
important to Shannon. So, yeah, that is your homework. Lulu's a cute name.
Figure out my
Love
cat
that
name.
name.
I do love Lulu. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a wonderful episode, and it was wonderful to speak with Shannon, and always great to spend time with you.
Likewise.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there on our next episode.
Wrap it
Who
up.
knows?
Put a bow on it.
Yeah.
Put
We'll
it
have
under the
another
tree.
creative
Merry
next.
Christmas.
Not yet. It's November 3rd.
Not yet. But we're getting there. It's time. The Halloween decorations are gone.
Yes. Yes. And
Mariah Carey has thawed.
And there will be Christmas trees in the windows this weekend. I am positive. So
I'm going to chop down a tree this year at a farm. I haven't told you that. No?
all right, we're going to leave that for next episode.
We're going to leave that there?
Yeah,
Next
we're going to
episode?
leave that there.
Okay.
I will make sure he doesn't chop down a tree, folks. Everything is fine.
It's what they're there for. Okay, I don't know if that's true. This is what I've been told we're doing.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
To be continued.
To be continued.
Thanks, Rogan.
Okay.
You're
well,
awesome.
I will chat with you next
Tomorrow?
time. Tomorrow, yeah. I'll give you a call. Hey, how's it going? Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right.
See you in the next one.
Bye for now.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.